Coming up on show 854, Panasonic are aiming to boost energy density in their Tesla batteries, but by how much? If you stick around, I'll tell you more. Plus, Tesla is hiring new production associates for a battery cell production line. GM and EVgo joining up for a fast-charging network. And Volta Trucks teaming up with DPD. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're listening around the world. Welcome to EV News Daily. For what happened on Saturday, 1st of August, my name is Martyn Lee, going through every EV story so you don't have to. Welcome to a brand new Patreon Premium partner. Now, you've heard this gentleman's name before because he's been a supporter already, but he's now joined up at the top level, and it's Derek Riley of the EV Review Ireland YouTube channel. He's reviewed the Tesla Model 3 long range most recently, the Corsa-e, and even NIU Electric Scooter. If you search YouTube next time you're on there, just pop in EV Review Ireland, although to be honest with you, I typed in EV Review and it filled in the rest. It automatically put that one at the top of the search results. I got a Leaf 62 coming soon, an IONIQ, a Zoe, an E208 and a Mini Electric, all on the review channel very, very soon over the next few months. Doesn't have to be for my Irish audience though. Wherever you live around the world, check out EV Review Ireland from Derek, and he's also going to be reviewing some electric kick scooters and doing more with electric bicycles as well, even an LDV van coming in the next few weeks. So Tesla is hiring production associates for a new pilot battery cell production line. The fact that Tesla will be making their own cells and becoming a more vertically integrated company is the world's worst kept secret, with Tesla's Battery Day, which has been pushed back on numerous occasions, finally just around the corner. In addition to regular tidbits of information popping up related to Tesla's Roadrunner project and Project Palladium as well, they are now officially hiring, says Inside EVs. They say it comes as no surprise that Tesla is hiring for its battery cell production line, which is reportedly opening soon, though Tesla has yet to confirm many specifics related to the battery manufacturing system or projects. We do know it'll run the new battery line 24/7. There'll be 4 shifts and 100 workers on this pilot cell line. The automaker is now seeking production associates and controls engineering managers. These new employees will work on Tesla's pilot battery cell production line, and on Tuesday, 22nd of September, on the same day as Tesla's annual meeting of stockholders, we should have more details thanks to Tesla's Battery Day, and that day comes a few days after the S&P committee or board, whatever they're called, will sit down and decide. It'll be positive, won't it? On S&P 500 inclusion, just another big step in the journey of making electric cars just a little bit more robust in terms of long-term future. Having a big company like Tesla on the S&P 500 and already bigger than every other car maker, it's just another thing to convince people that it's okay. You can buy an electric car. They're not going to be going away anytime soon. You won't be left with a lemon. In fact, I can see a time in the future. Okay, so it might not be soon, but I can see a time in the future when, perhaps we use our petrol and diesel cars at the weekend. Maybe, I don't know, if I ever had the money and a garage big enough, to keep a car on the road that was a classic car or something and preserve it for the generations. And sure, I'd love to do an electric conversion on that. But, there will be a time in the future, whenever that is, when petrol and diesel cars are curiosities. And they will either sit in museums, or wouldn't it be great just to kind of keep them on the road? And I'm sure the petrol will be a little bit more expensive because it'll be a rarity to get hold of. Maybe you'll need, I don't know, official permission or a license to buy petrol, like you have a gun license here, a dangerous dog license. Maybe there'll be a point in the future where you've got to reply to the government, and I'd like to buy some petrol to put in my old classic car in a few years' time. And okay, well, it's pretty dangerous stuff. It could go bang, but we'll license you to buy it. I don't know. I'm just shooting the breeze. But there you go. It's an interesting thought at some point down the road. Well, Panasonic plans to boost the energy density of the 2170 battery cells it supplies to Tesla by 20% in the next 5 years and commercialize a cobalt-free version as well in 2 to 3 years. The head of the US EV battery business for Panasonic said in an exclusive Reuters report today, this is the first time Panasonic, a leading cell provider for the world's top EV maker at the moment, Tesla, has outlined these targets, putting down a marker in a highly competitive sector to stay ahead of the game. Well, Panasonic introduced the 2170 lithium-ion cells with the nickel, cobalt, aluminium, NCA, cathode chemistry. A lot of EV makers use NCM chemistry, nickel, cobalt, manganese. The Tesla Model 3 back in 2017, though, moved to the NCA chemistry. Researchers say it has the highest energy density at above 700 watt-hours per litre. And a cobalt-free version, on the other hand, would cut reliance on a costly and controversial component, which makes batteries much more stable, but poses ethical issues given the controversial labour conditions in the top producer of cobalt, the Democratic Republic of Congo. From September, they'll start converting lines at the factory in Nevada. And it operates that with Tesla as it prepares to further boost the energy density of the cells. Now, Tesla also working with CATL. They're supplying the low-cost lithium iron phosphate, the LFP, batteries that contain no cobalt but don't have as much energy density to them. But for the standard range plus cars, it's all you need. And it's always worth saying that although we talk about the ethical issues around cobalt and some of the terrible conditions of child labour in the DRC, many supply chains for electric vehicle battery makers are much cleaned up. In fact, they have a pretty forensic view of where the different minerals and materials come from. Now, I'm not saying that it's not an issue for some lithium-ion batteries, but you don't tend to find that in the supply chains of EV batteries just because it wouldn't be ethical and the publicity would be so bad. So it tends to be the more expensive batteries that you find in EVs where they know the supply chain right back to where the things came out of the ground as well. And it doesn't tend to come from those controversial places. Doesn't mean that we shouldn't still try and clean up other forms of lithium-ion batteries in other devices or where we use them. Well, General Motors is working with the EV charging network EVgo to build more than 2,700 new fast chargers in cities and suburbs across the US over the next 5 years. That's more than triple the 800 fast chargers that EVgo currently has on the network, which is in 34 states and serves more than 200,000 customers, says The Verge today. They say the build-out will help EVgo keep pace with the other growing fast charging networks. Tesla boasts 2,000 supercharger stations and 18,000 stalls. Volkswagen's Electrify America network is up to 452 stations in the US alone, and the new stations will be located in highly visible areas, and most will be able to charge at least 4 vehicles simultaneously, according to a press release. The charge rates of these chargers that they are putting in between General Motors and EVgo, they'll be between 100 and 350 kilowatts. They won't be exclusive to GM vehicles, and the first chargers that are part of this new build-out will be available in early 2021. The two companies are targeting around 40 different metro areas. Volta Trucks are the Scandinavian startup, the full electric vehicle maker that's going to soon start a pilot test of its forthcoming Volta Zero truck. Quite a big truck, this one, and not quite a semi-truck, but a pretty decent size. They're doing it alongside the delivery specialists DPD, a leading parcel service here in the UK. The Volta Zero will be tested by DPD within London's low emission zone, or the ultra low emission zone, the ULEZ, for the beginning part of next year, supporting their micro depot in Westminster. Rob Fowler is the CEO of Volta Trucks and said, and I quote, "As the world's first purpose-built, full-electric, large commercial vehicle, the Volta Zero was specifically designed to deliver parcels and freight in inner-city locations where today's air quality and noise pollution challenges are at their worst. The Volta Zero's full-electric, zero-emission operation is perfectly suited to DPD's distribution requirements with London's strict ULEZ, delivering parcels to central London's customers in a clean and efficient way." Well, moving on, and the electric powertrain nerds at EV West are doing everything they can to propel Southern California's hot rod culture into the future. Electric drivetrain swaps in old cars are their bread and butter, but in the process they realised how fast these things could be. And I mean really fast. With a custom tube chassis, a very slippery aerodynamic body, a hopped-up Tesla motor, and a rack of high-tech batteries, the mad scientists at EV West are aiming for the electric land speed record, writes Jalopnik today. Now, we do know that the Electroliner is what they've called it. The Electroliner is going to have 294 individual Panasonic battery cells. It'll be a 357-volt system, and we know the team plans to haul a small solar array out to the salt flats for charging purposes, keeping their 3 swappable racks of batteries topped up between the runs. We know that the plan is to only use the top 50% of each battery pack, as the power delivery drops off after that. And we know the whole kit and caboodle is going to be cooled with 5 gallons of ice water poured in before each run. Good luck to the team at EV West, setting the electric land speed record. Well, that's our show for today, and I hope you enjoyed it. Feedback on anything, anytime, using the email address hello@evnewsdaily.com, or leave a comment on the YouTube show. You know, you can listen to all 854 shows anytime for free, and this show will always be free. And at the moment, it's advert-free as well, which I just find incredible. And I do that with the help of Patreon. So if you get any entertainment or educational value, you learn something out of this podcast, I don't mind running ads at some point in the future, but I love that for now, I don't have to, and that we can get by with the Patreon supporters. And if you'd like to think about having a look, go to Patreon, patreon.com/evnewsdaily, and I'd love you to share this podcast with maybe just one person who you think would get a kick out of hearing it. Maybe it's a group or a forum or a community, or maybe just a buddy or a family member who is getting into EVs or could learn about EVs. You can share this podcast with anyone, anytime. And also, let me know their name. I'll give them a mention on the show as well. And I'd love to hear from you and who you sent this podcast on to. Thank you to our premium partners, Phil Roberts of Electric Future, Brad Crosby, thank you Brad, Avid Technology here in the UK, Porsche of The Village, they're in Cincinnati, Audi of Cincinnati East, Volvo Cars of Cincinnati East, NationalCarCharging.com and their sister charge company, AlohaCharge.com, and, as you heard at the beginning of the show, new premium partner Derek Riley from the EV Review Ireland YouTube channel. Have a wonderful day. I'll catch you tomorrow. Do remember, there's no such thing as a self-charging hybrid.